Welcome back, Coaster Nerd fans. In this video, I'll be doing my top 5 GP favorite coasters at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This is a part 2 of this series. The first one, of course, was the Kings Island's GP favorite coasters. And of course, I'll repeat this again. I got it from Hershey Addict. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I also combined this with some people I know that aren't roller coaster enthusiasts that go to Busch Gardens Tampa a lot, but they did not want to be, they didn't want to shout out, so I guess I won't be shouting them out. But anyway, so in this video, also if you guys could like and subscribe, that would mean the world to me, and also comment down in the video what you guys would like to see next. But anyway, let's get started on this GP ranking coasters video for Busch Gardens Tampa. Number 5 is Kumba. This coaster is at the back of the park. Normally, during the late afternoons, it gets pretty busy. But towards when park's closing, there's like 0 waits for the ride. Overall, this ride's super smooth for when it opened in 1993, and I think a lot of GP just really like this coaster because it is one of the most intense coasters at the park, and on top of that, it was the original superstar of Busch Gardens Tampa. As a coaster enthusiast, I feel like it's one of the best coasters in the park. But anyway, it takes up number 5 just because it depends on the time of day, and also there's just some times where legitimately the ride doesn't have a line at all, and you can just walk on it as many times as you want. Number 4 is Cobras Curse. This is one of the newest coasters at Busch Gardens Tampa, opened up in 2006, and this ride is a bit tricky. I've been to Busch Gardens where the crowds were actually pretty long, like Cheetah Hunt would have a 90-minute wait, Tigress could have a 20-minute wait, but this could be a walk-on, even if Montu has a 10-minute or whatever wait. I've had chances to get on Cobras Curse and it being a walk-on. But during the Christmas time, though, it definitely strikes up with popularity because of the kids. This is a family coaster, but I just find it kind of interesting because, especially with the hottest days of summer, it does have air conditioning in the queue, but not a lot of people like it, so this would be a lot higher on my list, but it just gets, every so often, just no one wants to ride it, and I can just get 5 or 10 laps on it without anyone being in the queue. But yeah. Number 3 is Montu, the big B&M inverted coaster. This ride is definitely very popular. It's in the front of the park, so understandably everyone would want to go to it first. But I've had days where also I can get a walk on, but it's because it's a massive capacity monster, and it can eat up a whole bunch of people at once. So that also helps a lot. But even the days where they're just running one train, the line can get up to 20 minutes, I've seen. Most days, though, it's not really crowded, but during the Christmas and seasonal times, it's probably one of the most popular coasters at the park. But understandably, I mean, it is one of the best coasters in the world, if I could say that. One of the best B&Ms in the world. But yeah, Montu. That's at number 3. Number 2 is Shecari, the B&M dive coaster. This was the original dive coaster that was built in America. And a lot of people love this thing. I've never been to Busch Gardens where Shecari does not have a line. The longest line I've had to wait in, it was probably this past Christmas for 2020, of course, with social distancing and all that. But I waited about, me and my friend Brian, we waited about an hour or so, 45 minutes, for Shecari, and this was past park closing too. But this ride is always popular. I mean, I've always have seen it up to 120 minutes. Never weighed in those lines, but this ride is very popular, and it's a GP crowd pleaser. Of course, it has that vertical drop, and a lot of people dig that sensation. And it's definitely a, if you lose a bet and you go to Busch Gardens Tampa, that's the ride that you're going to get put on, hands down. And that was actually one of my first coasters before I got into roller coasters. But if you guys want me to make a video, just comment down below. You wanted me to make a how I became an enthusiast video, I can do that. But anyway, this ride's just crazy, and I can totally understand why a lot of GP love this coaster. Number 1 is Cheetah Hunt. This ride, don't know, ever since it opened up in 2012, it's been really, really popular. But that's always been with the Intamin Blitz coasters. I mean, Maverick, for example, that ride gets massive crowds. Cheetah Hunt also gets massive crowds. For some reason, I don't even think it has to do with the train capacity either. It's just those types of rides have always been popular, the multi-launching coasters. I mean, it is a very enjoyable coaster, don't get me wrong. Just not my cup of tea. I wouldn't count this as the best coaster at Busch Gardens Tampa. I mean, Kumba and Montu are obviously the best, till Iron Gwazi opens, of course. But anyway, for this, this has just always been a GP crowd pleaser. I've seen the line go up to at least 2 to 3 hours long, and I've just never been willing to wait in that long of a line for Cheetah Hunt, just because I think it's a mediocre ride. It's okay. Not comparing it to Maverick, of course, just on its own, I think it's okay. But anyway, for this, that's the end of this GP ranking coasters video. Again, if you guys could please subscribe to my channel, that would mean the absolute world to me. And like this video and subscribe, or comment down below what coaster video you want me to make next, or whatever you want me to do. I will be looking at all the comments. Means a lot. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys out in the queue.